The Goons are back at it again on Crunch Time. Mad Max and Kruck are live right now.
All right, what's up, everybody? This is the 51st episode of Crunch Time, and we have a fun one today. We're going to focus mainly on our bracket. Stick around to check out what bracket it is, but we're going to start off real quick. We got Max. How you doing?
Doing great, Kruck. How you doing, man?
That's good. We got Jaris back from season 3.
It's been a while.
I don't know.
It's been a minute.
Yes, sir.
We're back in the studio when that happened, Kruck.
Yeah,
Not here.
We
Not
still
here.
have video.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into it. March Madness. Max, break it down.
Man, let's just say it's been wild. Let's put it like that. Personally, looking at it, FAU, the number 9 seed, won over Kansas State, 79-76. Then San Diego State, they took care of business, Kruck. They won over Crichton, 57-56. Now, granted, the end of that game was kind of a controversial call. A lot of people thought it wasn't a foul. Should it have been a foul situation? But they called it a foul, and San Diego State won the game. So, Miami, they won against Texas. And granted, I was at that game, Kruck, here in Kansas City. And I'm going to say this, Texas blew that game.
Yeah.
Right? Texas had the lead. They were up by, I believe, 10 or 12 points going in the second half, right? And then they just blew it. They kind of didn't have their players, and they were playing kind of just isolation ball, basically. They were kind of letting Marcus Carr trust all the plays what he did. And that's not what you can do if you're Texas. And Shabari Rice should have got more touches at the end of the game. Didn't. That was a big key for Texas and YLS. But props to Miami. They came back. They did a good job. Isaiah Wong took care of business. But the most complete team, I think, in this whole bracket is UConn. I mean, UConn, how they're playing, each of their games, they've won by at least 20 or 30 points. And against a Gonzaga team, Kruck, that's pretty impressive. They beat them up by 20 or 30 points. So, I mean, it's a crazy Final Four, but, I mean, we're looking at it. I mean, what are some predictions you guys got going into, obviously, Final Four weekend?
Well, I've been saying UConn for the women's side forever, and I'm not going to change it up. For the men's side, I'm not picking UConn. I wanted Houston to win it all. I was really rooting for Houston, but they got dropped. And, I mean, if you can beat Houston, I think you can beat just about any team in the nation. So give me Miami. I'll take the Cons over the Catholics.
Sir. Yes, sir.
What about you, Jaris?
Yeah, I mean, I like Miami out of those 4. I mean, FAU has defied every odd. Every team they've played, they were heavy underdogs, in those games. I mean, they were 34-3 on the season before the bracket started, which I was unaware of. Would have picked him to go a lot further than the Sweet 16, but I mean, just no one seed in the Elite 8 is baffling. Nobody could have predicted that. So, I mean, I'm just excited to watch it, but go Canes, baby.
And to get to your point, Kruck, about Houston, this is a chance for them, right? Playing in their home city, and Miami they took care of business, right? I mean, they showing why they are a team that was back in the Elite 8 last year, and now they made an extra step going to the Final Four. And so that's obviously something under Coach Jim Larrañaga. It's a big step for that program. Obviously, Jim Larrañaga in the locker rooms, we know his dances.
Yeah.
He's got some fun dance routines. But Jaris, again, back to your point too as well. FAU, right? They actually had the best record. Now, if you look at all these teams, technically out of all these teams, they're coming in now again like 35-3. San Diego State's coming in at like 29-6, I believe.
Yeah.
And then like Miami's got 7 losses. UConn's only got 6. So that shows you right there. Now, granted, yes, they played in the Conference USA. It's a lower conference, but I don't care what conference you're in. If you have talented players and you got a lot of people that are there, they're showing why they're beating good teams.
Right.
All right, so we got 1 minute. Do the women's side. Who do you got winning it? South Carolina is obviously the heavy favorite. I'm sticking with my UConn. Jaris, who you got?
Let's go Iowa, baby.
He's taking Iowa.
Well, technically, UConn is out now, correct?
They got beat by Ohio State.
Did you not know that? They actually got beat by Ohio State. My Ohio State Buckeyes. I didn't know if you actually knew that or if you wanted to mess that up. I didn't know what was going on. But here's what I'll say, though. Getting for real, though, I think Iowa right now is the most complete team. I mean, Caitlin Clark is I've talked about in a lot of her shows. She reminds me of the female version of Steph Curry.
Right.
How she plays, how she assists to people, how she shoots the three, how she gets players involved. And that's what you want to have on a team. I mean, granted, South Carolina's a tough challenge, and if South Carolina wins tonight, then yes, they get to play Iowa. So that's going to be a challenging matchup in the Final Four. Ohio State with Virginia Tech, that's a tough one too, right? I mean, Ohio State showed they can beat a good team in UConn, but Virginia Tech is one of those teams that's under the radar still.
Right.
But they're doing a great job staying up there. And I think Virginia Tech will beat Ohio State. Yes, I'm going to pick it, but that's just what it's going to go. So Virginia Tech, South Carolina, LSU's already there, and Iowa should be my Final Four.
Right.
All right, without more further ado, let's jump right into the bracket.
Let's get it.
All right, we're starting off with our bracket time. We're doing old school logos, not just one sport across the board. We picked our top 32 logos from the NBA, the MLB, the NFL, college, NHL, and then even retired logos. We have an ABA logo, Max.
Okay.
ABA.
Wow, we're going back there, Kruck, I'm telling you.
All right, so our first matchup is going to be the Oilers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Max, which one you taking?
So, yeah, I mean, obviously the Oilers are, again, a team that was Houston beforehand. Now they're another team, so that's been back in the day. What was it, 90s, Kruck? They were in there? 90s,
back
I
when
believe.
Warren Moon would clip his fingernails on the side.
Now, granted, when we say Philadelphia Eagles, people probably don't know what we're saying. This is an older, like I said, older logo of the Eagles. That's kind of more the bird just flopping his wings like that, not the one you see now with the bird head. But if I had to choose, I mean, listen. I see Philadelphia Eagles things a lot. I think that's there. So I'm going to go with the Oilers in this matchup because it's something different, right? And I think, it's obviously, it was an expansion team. It was good for a while, but not there anymore. But, I mean, granted, yes, it's just the thing of like an oil tank that's there. But, like, come on. I'm also looking at the team itself when I pick these picks, too, not just what they look in the logo.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to pick the Houston Oilers in this matchup.
I'm going to take the Oilers as well. It's just a classic logo.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me think of, like, Earl Campbell, Warren Moon, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just love that logo. I love when they go to throwback uniforms. So, I love that powder blue.
Oh, yeah. That's a great
I'm
color.
going with the Oilers.
Well, in case you two haven't heard what the word is, the bird is the word.
Oh.
Even though it's not going to win, I got to stay true. Avila Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, so you're
Doesn't
taking it
matter.
from that perspective.
But the
Okay.
Oilers are going to win. They're going to move on. Our next matchup, Jaris, you're going to lead it off. We have the old school Seahawks versus the old school Denver Broncos. And some feelings can be hurt right now. We do have a decent amount of Bronco listeners here. I think Coach Benavidez, now with the William Penn Statesman, listens. So be careful about the Broncos stuff.
No, my feelings are hurt looking at this as of right now because I remember the 48-3 Super Bowl that the Seahawks hung on the Broncos that I am a fan of. I am taking the Broncos because this logo is classic. John Elway makes me think of those guys. Shannon Sharp, anybody, man. It's just a classic logo, back-to-back.
Man, I kind of agree with your logic right there, Jaris.
Yeah.
I mean, the Seahawks, listen, I mean, the logo's not bad. It's kind of got a different, greenish kind of style that I like. But the thing is that the logo for the Denver Broncos, it looks interesting too, right? And I think, like you mentioned, the history that's been there. And I'm going to pick the Broncos in this one. Kruck, what do you got?
Well, you talk about taking it from a team standpoint. I think of it this way. I have over 64 different hats, and I have over 110 different jerseys. If I had to pick a jersey from either a throwback Broncos or a throwback Seahawks, I'm taking the Broncos. That's a clean sweep for the Broncos.
There you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Next up, we got the Patriots and the Dirty Bird Falcons. I'll lead off on this one because I don't think this one's going to win. I'm an offensive lineman, and I played center. The old school Patriots logo is a center. He is a Patriot snapping the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give it, stay true to my roots. I'm taking the O-lineman, dog pound forever.
Nah, I guess I'll go here. I agree with you, right? I think, I'm saying this as my mom actually likes the old logo of New England. And she always likes the old logo. And every time she wanted to get like a cup of New England, she's like, no, give me a souvenir cup that's got that logo.
Yeah.
So we got a mama's boy.
I feel like, I want to put it in that regard to respect my mom because I know she always likes to listen and so all that.
Jamal Lewis and the Dirty Birds, baby. Give me the Falcons logo. I love it. I love it.
The opinion is heard.
Opinion is heard.
But it is losing.
Bad respect, man. I love the Patriots logo, the classic logo. Giving the props to the dog pound, baby. Giving it to the linemen. Give them some attention. They need it. They deserve it.
And we got the Battle of Florida in the final matchup of the top left quadrant. Max, you can lead this one off. My feelings will be hurt if you pick the wrong one.
Listen, I'm going with Miami Dolphins.
Okay, you picked the right one.
I did. I picked the Miami Dolphins because, listen, it's a story team. Because I know you're a Dolphins person. I know this from you.
Man.
And listen, you always look at this. This is the time when the Dolphins were big time, right? Don Shula is the coach. Marino is there. I mean, that's the logo you want to get for the Dolphins. Now, granted, I wish the Dolphins can get back to that level here currently, which we'll see when that happens. That's another topic for another day, right? But because, listen, I'm being serious, too. The Dolphins back in that time with that logo are controlling. And I think now they got to find a way to do the same thing now. But
maybe they should go back to it.
Yeah, maybe. They got to get back. Maybe some
What
luck.
do you think?
Maybe some luck. I don't know. Go ahead, Jaris.
Okay. All credit to that team, man. I love Dan Marino, Larry Zonka, classic running back, man. But I'm not even going to lie, boys. This Buccaneers logo has been my favorite logo since I was a kid. So
it's hard.
It is.
I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers logo because it's just absolutely amazing. I love it.
The one thing that sets these two apart for me is what they're wearing on their heads, right? I have cowboy hats, and I used to wear a shut bucket. I actually have a photo of me wearing the old school Rydell bucket, right? Not even a flex. So I got to go with the old school Miami because, if I had to pick an American League team or an AFL team, I'm going Dolphins. Even though I've lived in Kansas City for 4 years, I don't like the Chiefs. Jackson Mahomes ruined it for me. All right, next one. Jaris, you're going to lead off.
Okay.
Toronto Blue Jays versus the Montreal Expos.
I love both of these logos. Very, very monumental to the organizations. Obviously, Montreal Expos are not a team anymore, but I am going to go with the Montreal Expos logo just because it's so classic of that expansion team. So.
I mean, every time I see the Expos, I think straight away of Andre Dawson.
Yeah.
I mean, center fielder, contact, power, he had it all, and a great fielder. So I got to go Expos. Max, Expos are going to win it, but we'll give you a say.
Well, they're going to get my vote too because the Expos, again, it's a classic one from back in the day. And, I mean, I always look when the logos now, how they look similar to what they nowadays. I think Toronto still has a good logo. It still has a little difference aside. But I think you just see that logo of the Expos. You don't see it anymore. And it's kind of interesting to my eye. So 3 votes for the Expos. They're moving on there, Kruck.
All right, I'll lead this one off. The Swinging A's of Oakland versus the Milwaukee Brewers. Ooh. I lined it up perfectly so I could pick the Brewers right away.
I know where you're going to go.
We got the flag in front of our face.
Come on.
But hear me out. The Milwaukee Brewers, their initials are MB. You look at the glove, there's an M, there's a B, there's a baseball. Yeah. It's got the royal blue, it's got the gold. I think it's one of the best logos in baseball history. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm going to take that one because when you see it, you think of Robin Yount, you think of Paul Molitor, all those old school baseball players. And, I mean, because we're announcers, you think of Bob Uecker. You think of Major Leagues when he's sitting there just a bit outside. Every time you see it, that's exactly what comes to mind. So, I'm taking the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, Kruck, you're not going to like me because I'm picking the Swinging A's in this matchup. Because, I don't know. I looked at both of them, right? And I think I kind of like the baseball kind of idea of this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of stands out to me. And there was some, I don't know the baseball players like you do, but I bet there was probably some great history with that team.
Ricky Henderson.
Jose Canseco.
Yeah, some
Mark
good
McGwire
players.
Played there.
Lefty Grove.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's still great history with the A's, even though, like you said, you had a great take with the Brewers and those people. But, I don't know, just because it sticks out, I'm picking the A's.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you're sitting next to 2 Brewers jerseys.
My first tiebreaker. I'm also going to go with the Milwaukee Brewers just because it's so... I didn't understand it as a kid. I thought it was a glove. And the MB is there, as Kruck points out. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I got to give props to the Bash Bros, at the Oakland A's. It's very monumental. But going with the Milwaukee Brewers.
That's the one I forgot, Mark McGwire.
Right.
With all the controversy about it. Speaking of controversy... One logo that almost made the list, but I decided to keep it out. The old school Cleveland Chief Wahoo logo. Right. Decided to keep it out. Didn't want to get banned from YouTube.
Okay.
So
all right.
But now we're on to it. We're on to one of I think this is going to be one of the hardest choices. The old school Anaheim A's versus the original Minnesota Twins.
Wow, that is tough.
Max, you have to lead this off.
Oh boy. Okay. Listen. Both of them, the thing is, I both like that it's unique, right? Both of them are unique kind of looking. I mean, they're not the same definitely now. You look at both of these now, they're totally different as you see it. I'm going to go with the Twins one. I'm going to say the Twins one because I think looking at it it kind of looks different, right? Probably, like I said, we'll show what this looks like, but it's basically the state of Minnesota. They got 2 baseball players holding hands with each other, trying to say they're twins.
Yeah.
And wait, the Minnesota Twins had twins on their logo?
Oh, who would have thought?
Go figure.
They always have a set of twins on their team. You didn't know?
See, we love doing this, boys. I'm telling you. Nah, but I don't know. I think it's just something different, right? I always like to see something different with logos, and I don't know. I guess I'm taking the Minnesota Twins booking twins together logo
Yeah.
in this matchup.
In all honesty, I have never seen that Minnesota Twins logo.
Me either.
It's amazing. I love it. But come on, man. The Anaheim Angels, it's just it's a classic. They got the angel wings on the A. I'm going Anaheim here.
You know,
Yeah, correct.
I'm sitting here and I've been to a lot of baseball fields. I've played MLB The Show a ton of times, and every time I think of the old school Minnesota Twins logo, I see it dead center field at their stadium, just giant up there, and I keep looking at it and I'm just like, that is the stupidest logo ever. I'm gonna go Anaheim Angels.
Wow.
I was literally
Oh,
wearing
This
that.
really feels tough for me, man.
You know what?
That's the one that cheered it.
I said that was the toughest one.
All right,
I said it was the toughest one because the colors, I like those colors more than Anaheim's colors. But
So if you didn't see it as much on MLB The Show, it'd probably be a different take, basically.
oh,
Is that what you're saying?
totally different take.
Okay.
MLB The Show.
But
That's ruined it.
because of Mitch Garver being their catcher forever, and now it's Gary Sanchez.
I'll give it to you.
All right, Jaris, you're leading off on the bottom of the left side.
I love this one.
It's the Tampa Bay Devil Rays and the Diamondbacks. Before we get to picking a logo, can you name me one player from both teams when this logo was current?
Oh. Okay. I'm going to go Randy Johnson
Yes.
on the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yep.
Okay.
This one's harder.
The Devil Rays is going to be hard.
I'll give you his
Okay.
nickname,
Okay.
the Crime Dog.
That's the first
Max, do you know it?
one. No,
I
I'm
don't
laughing
know
at the
it.
nickname.
Dude, I'm just gonna guess. Did King Griffey ever play for the Tampa Bay Devil
He
Rays?
did not.
Did not. All right.
I know that.
The player I was mentioning is Fred McGriff, who had meaningful years with both the Rays and with the Atlanta Braves. So, all right, we're past the history now. Which logo you want?
Okay. I am going to go with the Arizona Diamondbacks logo because ever since I was a kid, I just loved, actually watching Randy Johnson as a kid play for the Diamondbacks. I just love the A on their jersey, man. It just looks so sweet with the little viper tongue coming out.
Oh yeah.
I guess Diamondback tongue.
Didn't they throw it back one time? A little bit.
They do.
I think they did
Yeah.
one time. I remember that. I guess I'll go.
I love those
that.
colors as well.
I guess for me though, I mean, listen, I do like you said with the Diamondbacks and their logo and all that, but I'm gonna take the Devil Rays one.
Okay.
I think it kind of looks more intriguing to me, and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like this one personally more than probably what the Rays got right now. I think that probably more stands out. And I don't. How long did that logo stand out, Kruck? Do you know?
I think it was there for, don't quote me on this, but I'm believing 1979 until 1994, if I'm believing correctly.
Well, regardless, that's still a long period of time.
Yeah.
Still, so 15 years. So, I mean, I don't know. I think they should have bring it back because I think it just looks intriguing to my eyes. So.
They are bringing it back this year, Max.
Oh, well, then there you go.
Wander Franco showed it off in his media day.
Well, all right. Hey.
You corrected me once, I you once. All right, so I'm
gonna
gonna
break the tiebreaker.
I'm gonna be the tiebreaker, and ultimately this comes down to bird safety, if you will. Randy Johnson absolutely obliterated a bird, and that's not very safe. You look at the Rays, Tropicana Dome. You can't get a bird in there. There is no open air. It's a dome. So I mean, I gotta go with the Devil Rays, just for all bird safety.
Bird safety.
I mean, I am an Avila Eagle.
Wow.
I want my safety. So we're gonna head over to the other side of the bracket now. If I can scroll over there.
I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt.
All right,
You guys should not pick the Diamondbacks.
Jaris, you led off last time, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, I get to lead off the fun one. NBA, we're starting off with the Vancouver Grizzlies and the Toronto Raptors. I can name more Raptors that played with that logo, but it doesn't matter because Mike Bibby, he was a one-man show.
Yeah.
Give me the Grizzlies. Vancouver Grizzlies. Max.
Again, this is a tough one, but I'm going to mention the Raptors one. I think I like the Raptors one a lot. It's just got, like you said, a lot of history to it. And again, they still bring that logo back too nowadays as well. So that's another logo that's been there. So I'm going to pick the Raptors one.
It's beautiful, man. You know, seeing that Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, I can just see it. I can see him on the floor right now in NBA Live 2005. So I'm gonna have to go with the Toronto Raptors as well. I love the color scheme too. I mean, purple and red. You wouldn't think that would go together. You know, you throw a T-Rex in the middle of it, or a raptor. Pardon me. it just looks wonderful.
So because I didn't side with you, you're not going to side with me. Wow. Okay. I see the politics here.
No. Okay. Who I can think of a few players because they were still the Vancouver Grizzlies on that game as well, and it's a classic logo. I think. Which one of the Gasol brothers played there? The older one, Marc Gasol.
They actually both played.
They both played in Vancouver.
Yeah, I believe Paul Gasol played when they were Memphis, and Marc Gasol played when they were Vancouver. Yeah. But good, that's smart. We gotta have this guy on.
Yeah, real. Maybe he's got to be another person that comes on, another co-host. Right?
All right, Max, lead it off. Old school Bucks, old school Warriors.
I got to say the old school Warriors on that one because I think the old school Warriors just kind of looks more intriguing to my eye, and I think it just. Again, that's the Warriors. They've kind of had, again, we've seen a lot of them recently with the Warriors. Obviously, we know Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, all those names, but there's a lot of great names back in the day with the Warriors, too. A lot of people don't understand that.
They forget.
And a lot of people
Chris Mullins.
Yeah.
Monte Ellis.
Ellis?
So, those are...
What was it? Run DMT?
Yep.
Is that what they call them?
Yep. I mean, this guy was older than this logo is. This is the 90s logo, but he's a bit older. But no, just Wilt Chamberlain.
Warriors as an organization.
I don't know. It's just, I guess getting to that point, though, it's just like you just don't know those people. And then now you realize the logo, where it stands from. So I'm going to pick the Warriors logo over the Bucks one.
All right, cheers.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Warriors logo. The Bucks... They've never been good until, in recent years. Giannis, obviously. But just from a logo standpoint, it's not putting fear into my heart. You know what I mean? The Bucks logo, it's just a little, it's a little bitty buck, got a little basket rack on him.
Versus a legit warrior.
A legit warrior. He's ripped. He's holding the entire word by himself. So
it's a lightning bolt.
He's got a lightning bolt in his hand. The Believe team. I'm going with the Warriors, man.
Give me the Warriors, clean sweep. Up next, Jaris, you're leading off. The 76ers from the AI era, or the Seattle Supersonics, who were remade famous by Ice Cubes. Today was a good day.
I'm loving, dude. Come on, this is a really tough matchup here. I love the Supersonics. I love the entire organization. Everybody who made that logo famous. Ray Allen was there. Sean Kemp. The glove. So. I'm gonna have to go with the Sixers, though, man, because AI just, as a little kid watching him, man. I mean, he just made me want to play basketball. I can vividly remember pretending I'm Allen Iverson, on my little tyke skull. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go with the Sixers here.
I go down to simply which hat would I rather have, right?
Right. No,
I'd rather have a Supersonics hat because I feel like you can wear that to more parties and get more phone numbers than you can if you wear 76ers.
Valid.
Give me the Supersonics.
You guys got valid points. I mean, you talk about the history of the Sixers. You talk about
getting girls. Valid points.
To be honest with you, out of all these, so this has been the toughest matchup for me to choose to look at it. I'm going to side with Jaris though in the Sixers, just because I think looking at it, AI is another person. When I don't watch NBA as I watch college,
right?
But when I watch NBA, I always remembered Allen Iverson and those players that came in that era. Because, we always talk about eras, right? That's another debate we'll talk about another time. But,
right.
I think what AI did was transform the game with what it is now.
Absolutely.
And he's changed it into, get the three-point line. Now people are shooting up threes and doing it more. Probably 2 points at this point, correct? Especially I'm being serious, probably in the NBA. So I'm going to pick the Sixers old logo over the Supersonics.
And now we have two logos that don't have great current teams, if you will, being modest. We have we have one team that actually relocated because of them. Yeah. The New Orleans Hornets versus the old school Detroit Pistons. And, I have to lead off. Honestly, not a big fan of either of these teams, but I have a Detroit Pistons hat, and I also have a Charlotte Hornets hat, and I wear the Hornets hat more than the Pistons hat. I'm going with the Hornets.
Yeah, looking at it's, I don't know, this ones are not the most intriguing ones, but I'm going to go the Pistons one. I think the Pistons one, it's intriguing to me because it's got something different and kind of more stands out than the Hornets one. Because the Hornets now still kind of look a little bit similar to how it is now. Granted, the New Orleans Hornets, again, different because now they're Charlotte Hornets. But I think the Detroit one just stands out to me more, so give me Detroit.
Yeah, I want to point this out as well. New Orleans used to be the Jazz. It's where jazz, kind of originated in America.
Okay.
Right.
I actually didn't
So-
know that. Oh, okay, well I knew
I
that.
mean,
only-
it makes
I
sense.
mean, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
The reason I'm not picking New Orleans because they never should have went from the Jazz. There's no Jazz in Utah. You know
No.
what I mean? There's no Jazz.
It's just Mormons.
So I'm angry at the city of New Orleans for not being the Jazz. They shouldn't have ever let anybody take the name. So for this sole reason, I can't pick the New Orleans Hornets. And when I see that Pistons logo,
Yeah.
I see Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace. That team was absolutely insane. Nobody thought they could do it, and they did it, man. So I just got to go with the Pistons here.
True underdog story.
Me and Jaris have been kind of almost similar a little bit. I've noticed that.
I know,
Did you two talk during
know.
weights before?
I don't know. It's just
consulting?
like the last couple of
Whatever
picks I've
Kruck
noticed.
picks, pick the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well,
we might
now
be different though. It comes
This
out.
we're in the bottom right quadrant. We have the Quebec Nordic taking on I believe this is the 1974 version of the Oregon Ducks. And I picked this one because, I'll be honest, I absolutely despise Oregon because they beat my Wisconsin Badgers in a Rose Bowl long time ago. Still haven't gotten over it. I'll get there eventually. But, Max, you're leading this one off. This is our miscellaneous quadrant, so you don't have to worry about comparing teams.
That's true. That's true. Listen. I mean, the Oregon Ducks one is intriguing to me still, right? It's got obviously, I believe what is that in there, Kruck? They got
Donald
Donald Duck. Yeah,
Daffy's his wife.
Yeah,
I've been calling her.
I don't want to mess
I've
up.
been calling him Daffy
I kind of
all
wanted.
day.
Yeah.
It's actually Donald
Yeah,
Duck.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, that's intriguing to me, but I'm picking it because the team I actually did not know at all coming into this. This is exactly why we called this miscellaneous.
Right.
I'm like, Quebec Nordic, I've never heard of that until now.
Tim Hacksaw Hackett brought it up.
Hey, I'm giving credit for Tim Hacksaw Hackett giving me the Quebec Nordic to start this one off.
I'm going with the Oregon Mighty Ducks, baby. I love that logo. It's classic. It's got Donald Duck, which I didn't even know they ever had that. That's really awesome to me. So I'm going with Oregon.
You know what? Oregon has done a lot for this country and for this world. I mean, they brought us Air Jordans. They got Phil Knight and all of Nike started. I mean, did you see their actual basketball floor? And I'm gonna say this and then regret it right away. The NIT.
Their court.
Their court was amazing, and if you
I
look
forgot they actually played Wisconsin. Actually did play Oregon in NIT.
and if you look at the they have the giant O, and under it they have a Japanese themed word that actually spells out Matt. So Phil Knight's son, who was named Matt Knight, passed away in a scuba diving incident long time ago, back when newspapers were still black and white and you couldn't even take a photo. You had to take a Polaroid. And it's just really, I really love their court.
No, I was watching them play, and I was like, what is under that logo? Now, no, that's actually really cool. That's awesome.
And with all that said, I don't care. Give me the Quebec Nordic. I'm sorry, Phil Knight. No disrespect, but I just hate Oregon.
All that talk, just put it in the Quebec Nordic. It's funny.
Sob story just to pick the other team.
All right, next up, Jaris, you're leading off. We have the Hartford Whalers, an old NHL team, versus the old school Cleveland Browns. This one was actually picked out by Max, so if it doesn't win, we can blame him.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, man. The old Cleveland Browns logo, it kind of looks like a goblin. It's kind of scary. I don't know what it's supposed to be honest. That guy's not running through me.
I think it's supposed to be Baker Mayfield.
That logo's not running through me. So give me
The Whalers?
the Whalers. Yeah, give me the Whalers.
So they're supposed to put it as an elf. They're supposed to put it as an elf, a brown elf. That's what I'm being serious. That's what they said. They even had it one time on their field, as in the center of the field where they had it. And I couldn't believe it when I saw it. 'Cause I wonder why I'm a Bengals fan. Hey, there's a difference there too. Anyways, though, listen, I am going to support Ohio in this one and pick whatever the elf's name. I forget his name is Brownie the elf or whatever. I don't know. I think because I picked the hockey one last time, so I want to change it up a little bit and pick the NFL.
It's been a while since the Browns were 0-16, but they're not winning this matchup. Give me the Whalers.
Yes, sir.
We got two more matchups in the opening round. We're now going to the sailor hat era of college logos.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
We have the LSU sailor hat, and then we have the UNC Tar Heel sailor hat. It's a well-known fact. I come from a place just outside of Chicago, and it is written in the bylaws of Illinois that if you're talking about sports, specifically basketball, you have to side with Michael Jordan. Because of these rules, I have to take the UNC Tar Heels. That is simply the reason.
I'm going to take UNC as well. I do. I like the LSU logo, man, but it looks too much like Mizzou's old logo. It looks very similar. I mean, you could have switched it up, LSU, but yeah, we're going with Target.
What? I'm agreeing with you. I'm picking the North Carolina one.
Yes,
we're having a clean sweep.
I think that's only our third clean sweep.
Yeah.
And our final matchup in the
my
opening
God.
round of 32, the Flint Tropics. And I don't actually know an actual player. All I know is Jackie Moon.
Yeah.
Love me sexy. And the Anaheim Ducks. Also the Mighty Ducks knockoff logo, if you will. Max, go ahead and lead that off.
Mighty Ducks, give me the Anaheim Ducks. I think it's just more intriguing to me. And again, I had no idea what the Flint Tropics were until I saw the logo. So give me the Mighty Ducks in this matchup.
Give me the Flint Tropics, baby. Wonderful comedy.
Hey.
Wonderful movie. All right, just keep going. Have a specific scene.
This is going back to the what baseball cap would I wear? And as much as I'd love to wear a Flint Tropics hat, I feel like the jersey would look better. I just feel like the jersey would look better. I feel like neither of these would make a great hat, though. I'm not even going to lie. But you know what? Forget it. I'm going with the Tropics. Give me the Tropics.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we're at our second round. We went from 32, we're down to 16. Sweet 16. The Oilers and the Broncos facing off in the first matchup of the Sweet 16. Jaris, it's your turn to lead off.
Oh, man. As a Broncos fan, this is tough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just from a classic standpoint, I'm going to go with the Houston Oilers. I just love the logo. Yeah, just mentioning those guys, Earl Campbell and Warren Moon. And every time I play with the Titans, I wear those throwback uniforms. Got to go with the Oilers.
You know what? Every other March Madness, apparently except this one, the number one seed goes a little bit of a ways. So the number one seed was the Houston Oilers. I got to give it to them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Max, we both took the Oilers. Your opinion will still be heard.
It does matter, Max.
It does matter, whatever I pick. Well, we're getting a clean sweep for the Oilers because I think the Oilers, again, it's just a classic logo.
Yeah.
And I think the Broncos one is, again, they still got a great players
Right.
we talked about in the last one with John Elway. But if you're talking about more what would I want to see
Exactly.
appeal-wise, I would pick the Oilers and the Broncos.
All right, my turn to lead off the New England Patriots center logo versus the Miami Dolphins helmet in a very controversial win against the Bucs. So I'm still going to go with the Patriots. O-lineman through and through. I used to snap the ball, and I mean, just looking at that, I want to put shoulder pads and a helmet back on. I really want to. So give me the Pats.
Listen, I said the Patriots, right, because of my mom, right? And the last time, I'm picking the Dolphins, though. I'm going against my mom in this one. This is tough. I feel bad. I still love you, Mom. Don't get on me. But listen, I don't know. I just think about the history, too, right? We talk about the Oilers, Dolphins. Again, it's just something that you want to see overall, and that's why I'm picking the Dolphins.
Well, guess what, Max? You're going to have to think about your mom again next round because I'm going Patriots. Let's go, baby.
Patriots take
She'll
it.
be happy with you because you mentioned that.
And now we're at the Expos and the Milwaukee Brewers.
Ooh.
I let off Milwaukee's last time. Max, you're going to lead off this time. Expos or Brewers?
Listen, I was the one that went against your Brewers in that one matchup, and I thought I was gonna not get anything messed up or get anybody get at me. If I pick the Expos, it might be tough for Kruck. But listen, I'm picking the Brewers for Kruck in this one. You know why? Because actually, the Expos, granted, we don't see that much before, but the Brewers one, listen, I still, when you heard your arguments, it's still a valid team. It's something you want to get behind. So give me the Brewers one.
I'm going to go Expos here. It's just...
Fair enough.
It's... just 'cause I know Craig's going to pick the Brewers.
Yeah, I know he is too.
I'm thinking he will, but just for the reason of not a clean sweep, and I love the Expos.
It'll be a crazy shock if you
It's
don't
amazing.
pick the Brewers.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm a diehard Brewers fan.
Oh boy.
Diehard.
Okay.
You know, I just... They're my team.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
can't...
Yeah.
But just so that way, the athletic director, Sean Sumi, has to keep hearing about how Andre Dawson was a better Expo than he was a Chicago
Going against
Cub.
your Brewers, Kruck.
Taking the Expos.
All right.
Let's go, baby.
And we're not going to talk about it again. All right, now up we have the Angels and the Devil Rays.
Oh, man.
Jaris, your turn to lead off.
Okay. Yeah, see, last round, the Diamondbacks logo got beat out. I was 2-1 on that one. And I do love the Devil Rays logo. It's monumental, as I said earlier, to that organization. But I'm going to go with Anaheim Angels again because I just love the wings off the A. It's just, this is the first type of logo that kind of did that, brought in the, aspect of what your logo actually is with the letters. So,
and the wing kind of design, you see that a lot in track now. You know what I'm saying? Like in track and other sports. And listen, I was the one that went against it too. The Anaheim one in the first round because I thought the Twins one. I was like, what in the world am I seeing right now? But the Devil Rays one, listen, I like it. There's something it's intriguing to me about it, and I think that's why I picked the Devil Rays one in that matchup.
Looking at the Anaheim Angels, I think about their two best batters ever, and they both end with fish last names, Tim Salmon and Mike Trout. For some reason, I don't know. Just keeps sticking out to me.
That's an interesting fact.
But
it's a tough one.
I got to go with the Angels because I
love it.
There's angels in the outfield.
I love it.
So if there's angels in the outfield, you can't really go against them as a Christian. So
exactly.
That one's been tough. The last 3 rounds have been 2-1. You guys don't want to pick it against me now. It was against Kruck earlier.
Hey, well, I'm the one signing the checks over here. So. Okay. All right, next up, we have the Toronto Raptors taking on the Golden State Warriors. This is their 90s logo. I don't think I said it earlier, but this is their 90s, not their way back to where the actual state of California was on there.
Because that's what I was trying to talk about when the last time I was
there. My Grizzlies got outvoted, salt in the wound. So, if the Raptors can beat the Grizzlies, the Raptors can win it all. I'm taking the Raptors.
Yep, I agree with you. I just the iconic thing with the Raptors logo, and it's just something intriguing to me. Just more interesting than the Warriors one.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man. I love the Raptors logo. I love the color scheme, as I said earlier. Vince Carter's just so monumental to that organization and the logo itself. Like, I don't know if you can think of anybody else. Maybe Tracy McGrady or Chris Bosh when he played there, but that's who I think of, so I'm going to have to go with that. Best dunker of all time, baby.
You definitely don't think of, Barkley or Hakeem or Scottie Pippen when they played there because who even cares that they played in
Exactly.
Toronto?
Oh, yeah.
They were so old, they had,
That's valid.
they had wheelchairs on the sideline before Paul Pierce was even in the league. Dig it, Paul Pierce. All right, here we go. 76ers, Pistons. I don't even think this one's going to be much of a debate, Max, but you still get the lead off.
Sixers. It's just iconic thing they have, and we talked about AI and when we talked about the first time. It's just that's what I look at when I look at the Sixers logo when I see that. So give me them.
I'm also going Sixers here.
It's going to break Keaton Ashby's heart, but Sixers with a clean sweep.
Detroit fan.
We got 2 hockey teams.
Yeah.
There were only 2 hockey teams when we started this, and there's somehow both won their first round.
Out, baby.
But now one of them is going to have to lose. We have the Quebec Nordic taking on the Hartford Whalers. And Jaris, you got lead off.
I'm going Whalers here. I love the whale fin on the end. The tail fin, I guess I should say. But it looks sick, man. I love it. It's really appealing to me. I don't really know what's going on in the other logo, honestly. I like the colors.
Just an interesting design.
Yeah.
It looks like, yeah.
I'm looking at it. Nordic starts with an N. It's got the hockey stick. It's got the hockey puck. Kind of feeling it a little bit. And even though they're not from America, they took the leap and they went red, white, and blue.
They did.
They did
it anyway.
I'm splitting the votes here. Max, you're the tiebreaker.
Let's go.
Man, listen, I like the Nordic in the first round, but give me the Whalers here in the second round. I kind of, sorry, Kruck, but listen, I kind of liked it too because I kind of like what you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an interesting design to it that's something you just don't see. So I guess give me the Whalers in that.
All right, in our last our last matchup of the Sweet 16, the UNC Sailor Hat Tar Heels taking on the Flint Tropics. And we all actually know somebody from Flint, as much as he wants to deny it. Brian Slime Overall is from Flint, so we played football with that guy.
About that actually.
He says he's from Detroit,
Slime
but
Overall.
we have our opinions.
Wow.
I'll lead this one off. Give me the sailor hat for the Tar Heels. That would look hard on a baseball cap with a powder blue, and then the dark blue brim.
Yeah, valid point.
That'd look hard.
Yeah, last round I really went based off great comedy movie, so I'm going back to the old school here. We're going back to the old school UNC logo here.
Yeah, I'm going with the UNC logo, clean sweep. I think
sir.
just looking at it, it's just something you see a lot, and it goes with it. And I always like North Carolina just because. Also, getting back to my family, my dad went to North Carolina in school for a period of time.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and so
bragging on us.
and us, it's a true fact for me. So I don't know. I always like cheer for North Carolina in that regard.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then we're back. We have the Elite Eight. We're starting off in the NFL quadrant. Houston Oilers versus the New England Patriots. I know it's going to be a big upset, the 3 seed taking down the 1 seed, but give me the Patriots. When you get down and dirty and, down in the O-line, Jaris knows he's a tight end. He gets his hand in the dirt once in a while, and it's a tough place. But if you can keep winning, nobody can stop you. So give me the Pats.
Listen, man, it was tough because, remember, Jaris was getting back on me with my mom. I was messing up with the Patriots. But, man, anytime I think about it, I'm going with the Oilers again. I like it. It's just,
he just doesn't like his mom.
It's tough. No, listen, I respect my mom. Obviously, I know we're not doing anything to not say I don't disrespect my mother. But listen, I picked the Oilers because, I don't know, in the truth, right, I think just the iconic thing they have. And I think that's something you want to look at when you see the Oilers won over the Patriots. So give me the Oilers over the Patriots. Even though it's a tough one, though, it's still 2 great logos.
Right, yeah. I'm going to take the Oilers as well, man. It's just a classic logo.
Mm-hmm. I said you were part of the dog pound. You're just going to go crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, now you're making me feel bad here.
All right, Oilers move on from the NFL, going down to the MLB. Max, you're first up. We have the Montreal Expos, what team did they become, Max? Let's see if you know. I gave you that big baseball book.
Oh, boy. It's funny is I got to keep reading on that book because you have to tell me. What is it again? I tell you.
Washington Nationals.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense. That actually makes sense looking at it.
Versus the Anaheim Angels, Max.
So looking at this is kind of interesting for me, right? Because I actually didn't pick the Expos because I picked the Brewers in that round. And then I also picked the Devil Rays. So these are both picks that kind of went against me in that regard. And so now I'm picking some now looking what I think. And now, even though I haven't picked Anaheim this entire time, I'm picking them to beat the Expos in that one. I thought we talked about it a little bit when I brought up the stat about how it's like that kind of wings logo kind of look has brought it up into like track status and in like other places as well. So give me the Anaheim Angels in that one to go into the Final Four.
I'm going with the Montreal Expos here. It's just a classic logo, man. I don't know if any logo can beat it. That's left. We'll see.
I mean, it's a tough choice too.
If Kruck goes to Anaheim here, it will be gone. But
I mean, we were shocked when he didn't go to the Brewers.
I'm loving the Expos logo, man.
I gotta be straight up. The only reason I'm picking the Expos is because I just don't like Cubs fans, and I want them to know Andre Dawson was better with the Expos. Expos moving on into the NBA bracket, NBA quadrant, if you will. Toronto Raptors, Philadelphia 76ers, both logos prominent in the 90s.
Yeah. Starting off?
What we doing, Max?
Let's see. Wow.
Sorry, I believe it's Jaris to start. My bad.
Oh, man.
Put the pressure on the new guy. Yeah.
Okay. Geez, this is a hard one, dude. This is really, literally 2 of my favorite logos. I'm going to go with the Raptors here. Based on color scheme alone and Vince Carter, man. Just Vince Carter, simply. So
I got to go Raptors as well. I respect AI. I respect him to death, but family comes first. And when you find out you are a cousin of Tracy McGrady, and Tracy McGrady's cousin is Vince Carter, cousins playing together.
Yeah. It's tough because I'm actually going to be the only person that picks the Sixers in that one. And I think I just picked the Sixers because I always just like to look at the certain types of history that go with it and just overall. But I still like the Raptors too, so congrats to them, I guess.
In our final, in the Elite Eight, we have the Hartford Whalers against the UNC Sailor Hat Tar Heels. I'm leading off. Give me the UNC Tar Heels. I love the sailor hat. I love the old school theme. Just give me the Tar Heels.
Yes, sir.
Nah, I agree with you. Give me the Tar Heels as well. I think they're just like the logo, like the setup, and the Whalers one. It looked intriguing over the Quebec Nordic in the last round. It's just I don't know. When I look at a team that looks more interesting, give me North Carolina.
I love the Whalers logo, man. It's gonna lose here, but I want to give credit to it. Props to you guys. Made it to the Elite Eight. Got beat out by a classic UNC logo. But I want to point out here the H and the W in the logo with a tail fin. That's genius. Whoever designed that logo.
That
props to
is,
you,
yeah.
man. But Fortunately, they went down, but I'm going Whalers.
Fun.
All right, we got the final four. UNC Tar Heels versus the Raptors. The Expos versus the Oilers. Max, I'm going to let you pick which matchup you want to tackle first.
Ooh, give me the Raptors, North Carolina. I'm going to start with that one.
Okay.
And I think, Cam, this is challenging, man. I mean, North Carolina one looks good. Raptors one looks very good. I mean, even though, granted, I picked like the Sixers one over that one. I'm going North Carolina one over the Raptors.
Oh, big take.
It's
The
a
crowd
big
goes
one.
crazy.
Listen, I know you guys would be different, right? But I like the North Carolina one because I always think of just the differences with it, right? And the Raptors one, I think it's very cool. You see it on their courts now. You see everything else they have. But I'm going to pick North Carolina. They're going to the championship, man.
I'm going Raptors here. I just love, like I said earlier, it's one of my favorite logos in all of sports.
Mm-hmm.
The old school Toronto Raptors look. So I'm going Raptors here. What you got, Kruck?
You know, I'm going to go old school. I'm going to literally lay the hats out on the table, and I'm going to, pick my college, right? So, Jaris, if you would, can you reach under that Devil Rays cap up there and tell me what the team is?
None other than the Toronto Raptors, baby. Let's see it.
We're going
Put it
Raptors.
on. Let's go.
Raptors are taking
Damn.
that one. UNC put up a good fight, but I'm going pro. All right,
That's tough.
I'm going
That's
pro.
tough, because I gave North Carolina its credit, right? But I don't blame you guys for real though, because I think the Raptors one still looks cool in regard.
And then on the other side, Jaris, you're leading off. Oilers, Expos.
Oof. I know I said last round. I don't know if anyone can beat this Expos logo, man.
You did say that. I do remember that.
But we're going with the one seed here. None other than the Houston Oilers.
The powder blue wins it for
It's-
me.
it's
The
dirty.
powder blue. I mean,
I can't believe we're going to say this for a Final Four, but give me the Houston Oilers.
It's beautiful.
It's
clean
just
sweep.
It's just something you look at it, right? It's just it's intriguing to look at. It's something you know about the history. So man, we got a good championship here coming up.
Let's go.
we are back with the final. We have the Toronto Raptors. Is it Toronto?
Yeah,
Toronto
yeah.
Raptors. I haven't been to Canada in a while. Versus the Houston Oilers, and this is a hard one, folks. I mean, before we even get there, I'm gonna pay respects to all the logos that came before. They were all great.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give them a round of applause. We
had so many logos to choose from, and we picked these 32. So if you weren't picked, you weren't that good. I'll be honest.
Damn.
So honestly,
Give it to 'em.
just looking at it, the reason I can't go with the Oilers is because they are now the Houston Texans, and I despise the Texans.
So you haven't mentioned that point yet.
Yeah,
This entire
I
segment.
haven't mentioned that.
Despise the
That is a valid-
Texans.
that is a
So
Who
valid-
are they now?
Yeah.
give me the Raptors.
So what? Actually, yeah. So the Oilers did they go somewhere else though before then?
They
Before
did.
They went somewhere else before they went to be in Houston.
No,
Isn't that right?
Yep. They
Yeah,
left.
that's, I
They
believe.
left for a year.
Yeah. So, man. So listen. I mean,
Pressure's on.
If we all don't know. Listen, Kruck's got the Raptors hat on, and it looks very clean on him. But I'm changing up to be the Oilers, and here's why. And I'm putting the pressure on Jaris, right? Because I think the Oilers one is just so iconic. There's something about it, and I always like. And here's the thing: I haven't had any controversy with the Oilers in this entire round. Think about that for a second. I picked them this entire round. The Raptors I picked back with the Sixers earlier in the round. So that's kind of where I'm getting at with mine. So, Jaris, we put you in a tough spot, man. Who's going to win it all?
I mean, we do have a 1 seed going against an 8 seed right now in the finals. Talk about a Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Just to persuade you a little bit.
Does the shoe fit?
I think it does.
Does it fit? I think it does, Max, because I think I'm going with Toronto Raptors here as our champion for the logo.
No.
That's a
Yes,
tough break.
sir.
guys.
That's it right
listen,
there.
it's
The
tough,
Toronto
right?
Raptors.
Because I always pick the Oilers the whole time, and I thought they would do well. And granted, it is a 1 seed, and we know March Madness now is going crazy, right?
Yeah.
We got a 9 seed
No
that's in
more
the
1
tournament.
seeds.
No more 1 seeds for real. But somehow I was cheering for the 1 seed, and Cinderella beat it again.
It's just too classic,
Yeah.
man. I can't ever go against
Well,
that
I'm not.
logo.
It's actually a great pick. I'm
It's-
surprised.
yeah,
It shouldn't.
no.
I personally, when I picked those cards, it probably should have been a higher pick if we put it up in
Right.
regards, not as an 8 seed. But get props, eh? Raptors won.
Absolutely. And that will do it for the 51st episode of Crunch Time. Make sure to stay up to date on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Until next time, we will probably have some more March Madness talk next time around. I believe they're either going to be finishing up
They
Or
will
they'll
be at
still
the
be on.
championship game at that time.
They will
Monday
be-
will be the championship for
They'll
men.
be at the championship game, so make sure to stay tuned. From all of us here at the studio, Max, Jaris, Kruck, and Buster, the producer, would like to thank you all for tuning in. Everybody have a great night.
Want to stay up to date on all Crunch Time episodes? Make sure to subscribe and follow on Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.